Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Thierry Breton of France stepped down as a member of the European Commission on Monday and said he would no longer be his country's candidate for the next EU executive body. This comes on the day before European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is due to present her top team of commissioners in Strasbourg on Tuesday. What prompted this last-minute move and what are the ramifications of this change on the College of Commissioners? To explore this and related questions, we are joined by Jan Olbrycht, former member of the European Parliament. Mr. Olbrycht, welcome to TV World and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Pleasure to have you, sir. So what does this last-minute resignation signify in terms of the Commission's decision-making role?
Yeah, for everybody who was aware and observing, watching very carefully the whole dynamics of choosing the commissioners is not very surprising, in fact. It means that first, Thierry Breton is a very well-known politician and the expert. He is very well evaluated by the people during his term. But at the same time, he didn't hide his misunderstandings and problems with President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. And it's not from yesterday or today, it's especially from March. So it was, in fact, before the election. At that time, I really remember, and I was at that time the member of European People's Party, which is in fact the family of Ursula von der Leyen. We remember his very critical opinion about Ursula, especially about her political family. So it's not surprising. Surprising is the way he was doing it and why now. So it's very surprising that he resigned immediately and that he, in fact, he used something which in politics is not very often, it's emotions. He said that he resigns because he cannot accept the way the Ursula von der Leyen is acting. So it's not especially surprising. The question is only the method, the way he was doing it.
Okay, well, there are a number of points you raise there, sir. Now, the first is, yes, that there has been a conflict between Ursula von der Leyen and Monsieur Breton since March or April, and that was to do with the appointment of Markus Pieper. He was Ursula von der Leyen was accused of favoritism in that case. But then why did it take so long for this to kind of blow up and for Monsieur Breton to say now, to wait till now in order to back out? And linked to that, I mean, he was still being represented. He was still the French representative for the Commission, nominee for the Commission. It could have changed well before that, either by him directly or by France, no?
I had a chance to participate in all this political life from inside and not from outside. And I think that I'm sure that Thierry Breton, he was sure, in fact, to be the French candidate at the last moment. And of course, even if he was very critical to Ursula von der Leyen, the question for me, someone who is just observing it, is now, what about the behavior of the French president, Monsieur Macron? Was he really behind him, supporting him, or fighting for the very good position in European Commission, knowing that he is in a not very good relation with Ursula von der Leyen? Or, in contrary, Mr. Thierry Breton, maybe he found that the support from President Macron is not maybe extremely strong, and of course that the whole fight is about the not only the French portfolio, but it's also about himself. The first reaction, as you know, is that it's not that this is about gender equality in the Commission. So that Ursula von der Leyen was asking the French government to propose a woman, but in fact, after some hours, it was very clear it's not about gender. It's about the person. So I think that Thierry Breton discovered that maybe the support from him was not very clear from the French side.
Well, I mean, that does seem to be indicated by the speed with which President Macron suddenly found a replacement in the matter of hours for Mr. Breton. So it suggests that perhaps this was expected and somebody was waiting in the wings to take over. But Monsieur Breton refers to Ursula von der Leyen's questionable governance, and I quote, in his Twitter message. What's he talking about when he talks about questionable governance?
Yeah, you know, it's a very, very serious criticism, and you speak about the way, the way she governs the Commission. You know, you can criticize some decisions, but when you start to criticize the way of governance, it means that the situation is very, very clear and very negative. You know, the way of what you said, just at the of Mr. Macron, to propose someone who I know from my last term in the parliament, Stéphane Séjourné, who was very, very close, who is very close politician to Macron, and he used to be the head of the whole group in European Parliament, and he became the Minister for Foreign Affairs. But you know, this very quick decision showed very clearly that Macron decided to serve not only the new French president, but someone from the very close team of him. So I think that Thierry Breton, when he decided to leave, I mean, the tone, the way he criticizes Ursula von der Leyen became quite strong. So as I said, the way of governance, this is the something which is a very strong criticism. Before, it was about the EPP, European People's Party, about the how long the EPP can govern the European Commission, etc., etc. So it was in political terms quite clear. But the way of governing is personally very clear about Ursula von der Leyen.
Right. Now, Thierry Breton's been actually very active in his role as commissioner, being involved with the COVID-19 rollout and production of vaccines, arguing with Elon Musk and many other areas. Now, is there something in all of that activity that somehow didn't sit well with senior members of the Commission?
You know, well, in fact, when you observe the way of organizing European Commission, the question is how is it been structured? I mean, what is the role of vice presidents of European Commission? What about the role with the others? Is it the one man show or one woman show? It's Ursula decides, or she has someone very close. I think that Thierry Breton expected, after his 5 years, take into account his a very active role during the COVID, that his position after the election will be at least as strong as it is now, maybe stronger. But I think the whole dynamics in the Commission is now different, and I think that the whole situation is different, and the way Ursula von der Leyen is preparing is different. So I think that maybe he started to act before the election to show his position, and if in fact it was not very well received inside the European Commission before the election, and of course after the election it was even worse. So you cannot be only very active and efficient, but you have to be also. I mean, when you speak about someone like Thierry Breton, to fit to the whole construction of the European Commission, and is the question how France is seen and in the whole construction of European Commission. And I think that this process probably started before the election. Now we see the result.
Understood. I mean, he was also, apart from being quite active, he was also quite controversial, wasn't he? For example, mining, which he called a taboo topic, but he wanted Europe to be self-sufficient in rare earths and so on. In other words, not to have to rely on economies like China for those. Could that have ruffled feathers so much that people didn't want him to bring up any other so-called taboo topics?
Yeah, I don't think it's about content, because there are no many controversies. But the question is how it's proposed and what is the ambition of someone who is presenting it. I don't see any very controversial elements in what you just described. I think that this is much more about the internal structure of the European Commission and the role of President of the Commission and the Vice President of the Commission. I'm sure that Thierry Breton is expected to be absolutely one of the stronger Vice Presidents with very, very strong competences. I mean, his way of behavior in last months, a very famous debate or criticism about Elon Musk, it was something that's showing his ambitions and the role he expects in the future European Commission. I don't think that this way of behavior and this way of presenting ambitions was something which for Macron was the most important.
Understood. Now, in the last minute or so that we have left, Ms. Olbrycht, will Ursula von der Leyen be ready to announce her College of Commissioners by the deadline tomorrow, in your opinion?
You know, she, as we know, all of us, we know that there is problems because when she proposed to have two candidates from each country, and many governments, in fact, refused, and the very, very well-known conflict in Slovenia, which is the problem, of course, internal problem of Slovenia, which makes the whole situation quite complicated. But I think that she will do everything to be on time and before the meeting with the representative of European Parliament tomorrow. So I think because she is in a hurry and because to be on time, it shows the strength. So I think politically speaking, Ursula von der Leyen will do everything possible to be on time. And the quick reaction of a French president means that he shares this view and he's ready to support her to be on time.
Understood. Mr. Jan Olbrycht, former member of the European Parliament, thank you for taking the time to share your insights with our audience.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, lots more coming up as always. Goodbye for the moment.